My name is Myra Kazanjian. I've been coming to the church a couple of years and just joined as an associate member in December. And I'm going to begin by talking a little bit about Lent. And what is Lent? Of course, it's those 40 days before Jesus is crucified. 40 days before the earth just comes crashing down. Life-changing loss. Reading from Matthew 5, Jesus is coming fresh. He was baptized by John. He went into the wilderness. He knows God's hand is on him. And he calls his disciples. And he begins teaching. And the crowds are huge. They follow him. He's healing many crippled, blind, deaf, dumb, lepers. And Jesus' power is just amazing. But shortly after this, he calls his disciples away. And he says something like this: "Blessed are you when your life is falling apart." That doesn't sound right. Did I hear you right, Jesus? No, you wouldn't say that, would you? We don't believe it. Look at all our friends and supporters. They love us. We're all witnesses to your power. But Jesus says, be prepared. For I tell you, you are blessed when your life is falling apart. Jesus says, when things get bad, I will hold you. And this is a message for us today. Many of us are in mourning. Much of the progress that we've seen in addressing the world's ills is being destroyed right before our eyes. Without the income we have now, the health care we have now, the food we enjoy now, people will suffer, and some will even die. I'd like to compare our losses to those of Job. You've probably heard at least part of the story of Job. He was an exceptional person. He was exceptionally loved by God, and he loved God with his whole heart and his soul. And yet God allowed an evil one to take away everything that made him happy. This makes no sense. He didn't deserve any kind of punishment. Not that Job was faultless, but he offered sacrifice when he sinned, and he sought forgiveness. He was a good man, yet he lost his possessions, his children, his health. And now to top it all off, his friends told him it was his fault. Surely he had offended God. Now, you probably know people who believe that if their lives are going well, that means God's happy with them, God loves them. And if someone is sick and disabled, without work, homeless, childless, some people believe that somehow they brought that upon themselves. That somehow they're sinners and deserve this. Now, how do we understand what happened to Job? And how do we understand the pain and evil in our own lives? David Hester wrote an interpretation Bible study on Job, and I found him very helpful. He narrates God's answer to Job's protests. As Job says, I didn't deserve anything. This is way beyond anything I might deserve. And in the end, God actually appears to him. And he shows him that both good and evil are part of God's plan. And somehow, Job is able to accept this and believe that there are limits to our human perspective. There are limits to how much we can understand. God allows evil for reasons we probably never will understand. And yet, in the face of all of this, my heart is strangely warmed. When our hearts are open, there is comfort. When we draw close to one another, there's comfort. We affirm together God's presence with us. We breathe in God's love. You are God's beloved child, you and I. God gives you and I strength and hope. And we will overcome the losses we face today with God's help.